Welcome back to Gibbo MMA, and we are breaking down DDP versus Hamzat Chimaev. This is the main event title fight for the middleweight division at UFC 319 this weekend in Chicago, and I am just absolutely excited for this fight. This is why we watch UFC. This makes all these dull Apex cards make it worth it. This matchup, if I could describe it in one sentence, it is a unstoppable force versus an immovable object. DDP is that immovable object, and Hamzat is just that unstoppable force. A bit like Habib, Hamzat is with, you know what he's going to do, but can you stop it? You know his game plan. You know he's going to come in and try and take you down, dominate you, beat you up against the cage. But can you stop it? And this is what is so intriguing about this fight is I think we have a guy in Dricus du Plessis that can stop the win streak, the dominance, the power, the speed, and the wrestling of Hamzat. And I got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to go back and watch these guys' fights. Both guys are just been in exciting fights. DDP versus Israel Adesanya. Like, watching that was, yeah, you forget how good of a fight that was. And DDP got into trouble during that fight, but he's a gamer, he's tough, and coming into this fight, DDP is the underdog, paying about $2.60. Hamzat around the $1.45. On Tapology, the general consensus is pretty much split between the middle on who's going to win. DDP 49%, Hamzat 51%. So most people think DDP by a knockout, Hamzat by submission. And with this, there's really no wrong answer. Everyone's almost right in their own way and for myself, I'm leaning towards DDP, but just Hamzat, the guy's never lost. He's 14-0. He continues in every fight to prove us wrong. In that Robert Whittaker fight, I picked Robert Whittaker to neutralize his grappling, and he got taken down within like the first 30 seconds of the fight and then got his face crunched. So yeah, and then and that was a 5-round fight, because we're saying Hamzat can't go 5 rounds. He's never been 5 rounds. His cardio's lacking, but it doesn't matter when you're finishing blokes in the first round. Like, he's got 9 first-round finishes out of his 14 professional fights, Hamzat. And this is where this fight is going to answer a lot of question, because I don't think he will be able to get DDP out of there in the first round. And DDP quoted, "This isn't a wrestling title. This is MMA." And that speaks so much sense and an eye-opener into, like, yeah, we're not coming in here to wrestle, we're coming in here to fight. And a lot of people haven't been able to stop Hamzat, and I think as soon as it gets into a wrestling match, they also lean into it. Whereas I think DDP is going to be throwing a lot of weapons in the entry, like knees, elbows, and a lot of hammer fists when he's when Hamzat does clinch with him and gets his head, maybe if he exposes his head. And yeah, let's dive into a couple of thoughts. So, like, hearing from other fighters, Robert Whittaker in his pre-fight presser against RDR, he got asked a question about this fight, and he says he's certain Hamzat will get DDP to the mat. He will take him down, But if he doesn't finish it there, he's going to find it very hard to see Hamzat winning. So Whitaker thinks, and I'm almost kind of in agreement with that. Like, I think Hamzat will get Dricus to the mat at some stage of the fight. It's just if he doesn't finish it there and it ends up just being a grueling fight, and if you can't get him out of there, it's going to be very interesting. And that's when I think it very much swings in favor of DDP because we know Hamzat's game plan is to wrestle you, take you down, and submit you or ground and pound. It's very pretty much one-dimensional. And I don't see him winning via decision, Hamzat, because the times he has gone to the scorecards, like Hamzat could be the greatest three-round fighter. If every fight was a three-round fight, I would be 100% backing Hamzat. His last fight was 5 rounds, but he got him out in there in the first round. Because I feel like he just backs himself so much. He has so much confidence, which is great that he's just so bullish of like, my way or the highway, Hail Mary, and if it doesn't pay off, oh well, but he's 14-0, so like the last time he went to a decision, he won by majority decision against Kamaru, and then the other time was against Gilbert Burns, which was pretty close. Other than that, he's finished everyone else. So he's only gone to the judges' scorecards twice, and those fights have come down pretty close. He starts well, but he finishes. He really, drops back down once it's really into a fight. And it's been 5 rounds, and I'm thinking he's not going to be able to get a first round finish here. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm excited to see this Hamzat. Like we've been waiting so long for him to get to a title fight. He started off his career super strong. He went his first 4 fights, he got performance of the nights bonuses. He came in during COVID, and he fought twice in a span of 4 weeks. He fought July 15th in his UFC debut, 2020, prime COVID, gets a round 2 dash choke. Then he comes back July 25th and gets a round 1 ground and pound. And then he fights again in September. So he fought, July, August, September. So yeah, he fought pretty much once a month, essentially, in 2020. And then he almost has a year off because of COVID, cancelled bouts with Leon Edwards. And then he comes back, gets Ji Ling, and then Gilbert Burns. So those 4 fights, his first 4 fights, he gets 3 finishes, a decision, but 4 bonus performance of the night bonuses. So the last one was a fight of the night with Gilbert Burns. So we got 4 performance of the night bonuses in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fuck. So we got 5 bonuses in a row, and the last one being fight of the night with Gilbert Burns. And I'm super excited to see him tested against DDP and being able to see more of him because he's had a very tough span of health issues. He was in and out of the hospital when he first got booked against Robert Whitaker. He had to pull out when they first booked him against Whitaker. He was in hospital with some violent illness. He has had his thyroid, half of his thyroid removed. I think he has like long COVID or something, his lung infection. So, I mean, the fact that he's still fighting and putting on these performances and gone through all these bad health issues is like, yeah, I don't doubt him at all. Like his resilience is off the chart. Like seriously, to be training and then being freaking on your deathbed essentially. This Hamzat guy just shows you how bad he wants it. This guy, when he first started out, was living in the gym in Sweden, in this little box closet room. He lived in the gym for a few years starting out in Sweden. Like, he's Chechen born, and then he migrated or fled essentially to Sweden. He's now Um, he's now representing the flag of, I think it's the UAE. So now he's a UAE citizen. So like, this guy has gone through a lot in his life. So like what he is up against DDP almost doesn't compare to the trials and tribulations he's had to go through throughout his childhood life and just to get to this point. So this stuff, was almost easy for him, which is um, just yes makes it all the better coming into this fight because we can get into the X's and O's, but it's those intangible outside backstories that really build these fights. Like DDP from South Africa. He's a schoolboy. He was a schoolboy rugby player. So in South Africa, schoolboy high school rugby is huge, and you're versing got other teenagers that are bigger or massive, and I think that's super underrated in your development for fighting is playing rugby. It's brutal, it's tough on the body, you need cardio, you need strategy and smartness to play, you need hand-eye coordination. And it's funny because coming into fighting, we think he's very uncoordinated and unorthodox, but um, you know, anyone that's played rugby, I think you just put you a notch level as far as like physicality because Hamza is going to bring that tackling sort of method to DDP. And if you played rugby, you know how to take a tackle, you know how to bump off tackles, and it's essentially you learn how to um, naturally get takedown defense and get strong hips through rugby. Um, So yeah, let's get more into DDP now. So he was originally a kickboxer, 33-0 amateur kickboxer. He transitioned to MMA just because there's just no money in kickboxing and Muay Thai. Everything slowly moved to mixed martial arts. So he's like, I've already got sort of the striking down. Now I just got to learn more of the wrestling. But again, because he's played rugby, it'd just naturally be easier to pick up. He's 9-0 in the UFC. He's on an 11 fight win streak. So his last loss came when he was at welterweight. He got finished back in 2018, and then he moved up back to middleweight. He's kind of in his early career fluctuated between welterweight and middleweight, which I will get into with Hamzat as well. So he's on a 14 fight win streak. He's the champ. He's defended the title twice against Israel. So he won the title initially against Sean Strickland, split decision. Defended it against Israel and then rematched and defended it earlier this year in Sydney against Sean Strickland. And his skill and levels just went like 5 to 10x above. Like he schooled Sean Strickland. He's really coming into his own now, DDP. So he's just only getting better and really coming together with all of the martial arts and mixing it together and really showing his identity of a fighter. Yeah, and he's got submissions of his own because Hamzat obviously path to victory submission. DDP is also has great submission. He's got 11 pro submission wins. And at one stage in his earlier career, he had 5 submissions in a row. So DDP also, he's got the ground game as well. And which is why the odds being this far apart, I'd probably lean towards where the value is in DDP. Obviously, when you get an undefeated fighter like Hamzat, they're always going to be a lot shorter. But yeah, DDP, like he's much more well-rounded than Hamzat. Um, so yeah, DDP had 5 welterweight bouts, and with that is like when this fight first got announced, I did a video and said like DDP is huge. I don't think Hamzat's gonna have much success to try and get DDP down because this guy walks around at like 220, 230. He most likely can and will move up to light heavyweight soon he gets this win and another one, he could go for double champ status. Like, he is a brick, built like a brick shithouse, thick. He's like a fridge, very dense. And Hamza, he's also big, but he can, done when right, move to welterweight now. Like, DDP ain't moving back down to welterweight. And there's talks Hamzat said he might move down to welterweight for a title or something. But yeah, Hamzat, he's only fought like two genuine middleweights in Robert Whittaker and Gerald Meerschaert. So other than that, he's been fighting welterweights essentially. Like when he fought Kamaru Usman, former welterweight champ, second best welterweight of all time essentially. It was at middleweight, but it was on short notice for Usman, so he's not a genuine middleweight. He fought Kevin Holland at catchweight 180 because of weight issues. Gilbert Burns welterweight. Because he's been the same with, it's a bit of a common theme with welterweight, middleweight. Some guys are kind of tweeners. Earlier on, they start off at welterweight. Like Whittaker, he was a welterweight, then moved up. Kelvin Gastelum, perfect example. But yeah, I see DDP investing early in the body, but he's got to be careful with throwing. If he's going to throw teep kicks to the body, a guy who's just trying to get takedowns are going to try and catch those and use those to take you down, which is why I think we might see less kicks from DDP in this fight, because Robert Whittaker against RDR, he did not want to go to the ground with RDR. And you saw Whittaker throw barely any body or head kicks. He didn't do like his famous combination, the 1-2 high kick. There wasn't any of that because he was just like, I don't want to give this guy any chance of taking me down. So this fight could very much be DDP, just more predominant hands and then calf kicks. I don't think he's going to want to give an opportunity for Hamzat to catch his legs, especially in the early rounds. I think the kicks will come out later. But in those early rounds, if he's going to want to invest in the body, he's going to just have to blitz him and do that blitz he does to the body and head. I don't think he's going to be able to just throw a singular jab out there to the body. He will try, but he's going to leave. He's going to give Hamzat that opportunity to take him down. But with DDP, he only has to worry about headshots and takedowns. I was looking at the significant strike percentage, and Hamzat throws 85% of his strikes to the head, whereas DDP throws 59% of his strikes to the head. So he does mix it up well to the legs and body. So DDP really only just has to cover his head. Like, he doesn't have to worry about getting crazy calf kicks, legs kicks to the thigh, kicks to the body. He might Hamzat throws the odd teep kick to the stomach, and I think that's going to give DDP a lot of freedom to maybe, like, he knows what he's going to throw, like the old fake takedown overhand right. Khabib did that best on Conor McGregor. A lot of wrestlers do that, fake the takedown and come over with the overhand right. And I think DDP's is going to really read that well, and he's really good at keeping his hands up. So Hamzat, I think Hamzat should throw more body shots in this fight because he's going to be level changing. He's going to be in and around there. And I think the body's going to be very free for DDP because the body doesn't essentially move. It's a much easier target. Obviously, coming in, trying to strike for the body, you leave yourself a bit open. But Hamzat has the big speed advantage. He is much quicker than DDP. DDP is much slower, so I think his movements are going to be very simple, but he's going to be very, like, because he's much slower, he's going to just have to keep it very simple because Hamzat, he can just come in. The way Hamzat comes in for a takedown, he's got like a jetpack strapped to his back and he just fucking yeets into your fucking knees and just fucking, he's like a wolf and just fucking grabbing onto you. And this is just insane to watch. Like, he just fucking yeets, he's got a jetpack on, he just hits it and just torpedoes into your knees and just starts grabbing for limbs. And DDP is going to be very mindful that he's much quicker than him. And I think, showing those knees, faking the knees, RDR does knees wells, but it's a very slow, long-winded movement. But it's very much going to have to be throwing knees and uppercuts than just showing it as feints or not necessarily hitting with it, but just showing him he's there. Because, yeah, Hamzat's got that speed advantage and he's going to come diving at his legs early on with it. It's just whether DDP can stop it. So what we're going to see out of DDP early, he's going to want to try and keep Hamzat on the back foot, much harder to shoot off the back foot. He's going to have to really press him. But with that, the way DDP does pressure and blitz with his head up and he's just like fucking throwing haymakers, I think Hamzat will have trained instant level change. As soon as he starts blitzing you, he's just going to duck his head. He's just going to shoot straight for the ground. He's going to level change because when DDP does blitz, he's kind of upright, hips are exposed. And I think Hamzat's going to see that and just instinctively drop down, level change, and just shoot because the knees, there won't be too many lethal weapons coming up the middle like an uppercut or knees. And yeah, so it's very much, DDP, also could know that too. Like, I want to blitz, he's going to try and level change. And I wonder if he's going to change it up a bit and start, do the 1-2 blitz, but usually does like 6 combinations. I wonder if he's going to pull out after maybe 3 and start, loading up knees and uppercuts because he knows instinctually Hamzat will initially back up and then he's going to squat down and duck and fucking torpedo into him. So it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to find out. Let me know what you think is going to happen, how it's going to play out. Again, this is a 5-round fight, and I noticed in the last 3 fights for each of the guys, DDP has essentially gone 14 rounds in his last 3 fights, and that's been in the past 1.5 years. 14 rounds. He did 2 5-round fights against Strickland, and then he finished Israel Adesanya later in the 4th round. Whereas Khamzat Chimaev, he has gone pretty much 4 rounds, so 10 rounds less than DDP, and that's been in the last 3 years. So Khamzat has gone essentially 4 rounds in the past 3 years compared to DDP's 14 rounds in the past 1.5 years. So Khamzat he has barely any fight mileage. Like, he's got training mileage, he's got, the health, wear on the body mileage as far as that sense. But as far as fight mileage, like Khamzat Chimaev getting those, 9 first-round finishes, he doesn't have a lot of fight mileage. So my early call, I guess, we're halfway through the year, just over. We've had some great fight of the nights, contenders of the year. Now I'm making an early call. This might possibly be the fight of the year, this fight right here, because we got that immovable object versus an unstoppable force. And I think this is where Khamzat, all this work and all those first round finishes of low fight mileage, I think all that conservation on his body is going to get poured into this fight. I think we're going to, make it to the 3rd or 4th round. I think it's going to be an absolute war. Could even go 5. And because we were saying with DDP, like, oh, his cardio. And then he goes 5 rounds with Strickland, 4.5 with Adesanya, and 5 again with Strickland. Like, oh, well, cardio is not an issue. And I think we might see that with Khamzat. He might prove us wrong that he does have the cardio. And Coach Ray Longo said something interesting. He was saying the grapplers tend to get more tired when they strike than they do when they wrestle. And then vice versa. Strikers tend to get more tired when they wrestle than they do when they're striking. So I wonder if that will be, because generally grappling wrestling is more taxing on the body, but if you've been doing it all your life like Khamzat, generally that's where your cardio and fitness is stronger. And then when you do go to the striking, your body's not, as used to it, as fit for that, then you actually get more tired in the striking. So I wonder if that will apply to Hamzat here. But yeah, we'll get to find out. But yeah, very interesting. 14 rounds in the past 3 years for DDP. 10 rounds less in the past 3 years for Hamzat. So I think Hamzat's been waiting. His body's been saving him and, waiting him for this fight because I think it's going to be fight of the year. It's going to be absolute barn burner. I think we're going to see a lot of heart, grit, sweat, blood, and tears in this fight, and they're going to put it all out there on the line. I think this will get fight of the night and fight of the year. All right. I mean, I'm going to do a preview of the 319 card later on, but this fight deserves this own video right now, and yeah, like it's just going to be an awesome fight. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the fight. Let me know your prediction, who's going to win. I'm just seeing what else to touch on in this fight. I'll speak more about, add more about it in the preview, but yeah, this definitely deserves its own video. Yeah, like the DDP Blitz, I think we might see a new and improved version of it because every time he's blitzed against other guys, they haven't gone for the takedown because when he blitzes, his hips are so exposed and all it will take will just a guy to just sit back and squat and just absolutely dive into the hips. And I think Hamzat will see, I think we might see him do that or take advantage of that. Also, with Hamzat, he's actually pretty smart. Well, I think so. In the way he explodes, because he will explode for the takedown, gets to a safe position, and he will kind of rest a little bit, like where it's safe. Like you'll get his control, but he won't just continue exploding. He will get to a position, quickly rest, fine, see if they're going to make a mistake, and then explode again. He's fine. Wait for them to make a mistake, explode. Yeah, I think hasn't been talked about much about like he's really calculated with his explosive energy, and because I very much saw that against Robert Whittaker. Like it wasn't just constant. He was just like in his face, but he was in dominant positions. He knows how to use his body correctly, and he's actually pretty smart with conserving his energy once he gets to takedown in position, or even if he hasn't fully secured it, he's still using and being smart with the way he positions his body and not using necessarily lifting power to power someone. He's actually using smart technique. That way he conserves his energy. And yeah, I think hasn't been talked about enough, the way he does use his technique and like the pacing of his explosions are very calculated. But yeah, I think it's not too much. Yeah, the speed advantage. Hamzat, that because he can fluctuate between 170 and 185. Like he's versing very much a genuine middleweight now. This will be the only third genuine middleweight he's versed, I'd say. DDP did fight early in his career at welterweight, but like he's a middleweight now, and he's a huge middleweight. But yeah, like my prediction, I'm leaning towards DDP. Like honestly, I kind of want I kind of want both guys to win. I'm not too in favor of either guy who I want to win, because if Hamzat becomes champ, like it just opens up such great matchups with the division. We're gonna hopefully see him fight more because he's been very inactive of late. And if both guys remain, whoever gets champ, it's great either way. But yeah, I'm leaning towards DDP. I'm very much just banking on Hamzat's not going to be able to get him out of there and submit him in the first couple of rounds, because I think DDP just has the skill sets and he's aware of, again, like with Khabib, you know what he's going to do, but can you stop it? And no one's been able to stop it with Hamzat or Habib with that style. And with Hamzat can very much just go in there and get him down and choke him out in the first round. And honestly, I will be pretty shocked and surprised. But if he does it, I'll be like, yeah, well, he's been doing that his whole career. So like, why is this fight any different? And yeah, like, let me know, drop some questions below about this fight. If more about this fight you want me to expand on in the preview, but I think I've touched on it a bit. Like X's and O's wise, like DDP's got the stand-up advantage. He's got great takedown defense. I'd say he's got good cardio. Like he's been going. Look at the rounds he's just done in the past year and a half in those title fights. So you can't doubt his cardio. Yes, a lot of it was more striking based, not necessarily a lot of wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see how his cardio goes with the guy who's gonna try and grapple him. But yeah, I got DDP officially at this point. Will it go to the judges' scorecards? Sometimes with these fights, things end up happening not how you expect it. Like with Hamza, you don't expect him to go to a 5-round decision. But I could see DDP winning, 3-2, winning rounds 3, 4, and 5, and winning by, 48-47. Hamza by submission round 1 or 2 for sure. Or DDP with a late knockout, but Hamzat's never been finished. So I'm just DDP at this point. I think in the preview I'll really make up my mind, but at this point, I'm just excited for this fight. Whoever wins wins, but I just want to see how it's done and how they come together and see who's able to inflict and execute their game plan. But yeah, let me know in the comments your predictions. I'm going to put out the preview later on, closer up to fight night. But yeah, Hamzat Chimaev versus DDP middleweight title fight. It's going to be fireworks. My early call fight of the night and fight of the year. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.